Hey guys, what's up? This video is going to be a quick tutorial on how to build a paint rack like the one that I have here on my bench. Previous to this, I stored my paints in a shallow, like Sterilite storage bin. It was really inconvenient because it wasn't on my bench. It was underneath my bench. I had to pull it out and rifle through it and find the paints I wanted, and they're falling all over the place. And it was just really, inconvenient. So I started looking at paint racks on the internet, and I found a lot of really, really nice, I would say professionally made racks. They're very, very nice. And as much as I would like to get those right now anyway, they're a little bit expensive. There are some that are a little more reasonably priced, but for the most part, they're a little pricey. Most of the ones I see are usually $20, $30 for one rack. There's some companies that make different styles for different paints, etc., etc., etc. But the good thing about this is, one, it is extremely cheap. Two, it is extremely easy. And three, no matter what style paints you're using, you can make this to fit whatever you want. You can make this, if you can get a straight enough piece of wood, you can make this 10 feet long if you wanted to. But basically, as long as you have the tools required, and the skill to use those tools, you can do this for almost free. It really is very, very cheap and very easy. So everybody should have something like this on their bench to organize their paints. There is no excuse anymore. If you can't afford it, that's okay. Like $5, $10, and you can have two of these at least. Lowe's, if you don't have the tools, Lowe's and Home Depot will have people on hand usually that can cut wood for you. And as long as you have the measurements, you can ask them to cut the wood, and if there's someone there, if they're nice enough, they'll cut the wood for you. So all you really need is your measurements. You need to line your paint bottles up and measure your paint bottles and know how long your pieces are, and then go there and buy the wood and take care of everything in one go. But basically what you need is, this is 1.5 by 1.5 inch furring strip. That's Furring furring strip. You can buy this at Lowe's, Home Depot, any home improvement store, local lumber yard. If you have a lumber yard, you're very lucky. I used to have one around where I live, but it is long gone now, and it kind of sucks. But Lowe's, their wood is terrible. From my experience, their wood is absolutely terrible. It's all crooked. It's all warped, twisted pieces where they're literally just like a DNA spiral. So you really got to go and dig in the back of the bin. You'll find bundles that are banded. I break the bands and just dig through whatever I want until I find. Like, I'm not going to buy crooked wood. If they say something to me, that's what I'm going to tell them. Like, I'm not buying your crooked wood. I mean, I know it's cheap wood, but it's got to be straight. Like, what are you going to use it for if it's not straight? So basically what you need is a piece of furring strip. It comes in, it's probably 8 or 10 foot lengths, maybe 12. I think it's 8 though, if I'm not mistaken. With an 8-foot piece, you can make two of these, the size that I made them. And as you can see, that holds 9 bottles of Tamiya acrylic per shelf, with the fourth being the table in front. So basically what you need is just a piece of that. These, well, I'll tell you about the measurements then. What else you need is sanding sponge, wood glue. I use Gorilla. I like it a lot. And that's basically it. You'll need a paint stir stick. You can get those for free. Walk by the paint counter, grab a few. You'll need them for the ends so that the paints don't slide off the sides. So these are 12.5 inches, which is basically the size of that. I'm not too precise with my measurements for these because it's not really vital, as long as you don't make it too short. A little bit long is okay, too short is not okay. So basically I used my chop saw down in the basement and I cut 3 pieces 12.5 inches long, and that's, like I said, relatively the same size as that. I'm almost positive when I made that it was 12.5. I just kind of guessed. And then for 3 tiers you need, I just tried to cut 2-inch lengths of the furring strip. You can make these in any size you want, really, it doesn't matter. So you'll need 6 for the 3-tiered one. And that's pretty much, you can nail these or screw these together if you really wanted to. I didn't need to. I just glued it and set it on my bench and let it dry, and it was fine. But basically what you want to do is, and this is so, like, I shouldn't even need to do this, but it's a tutorial. Oh, I knocked over the snow speeder. That's no good. So basically what you want to do is and then you put another long piece on top like so, and then you do the same thing in the back. Line up all the blocks. So simple. And you're just going to do this 1 tier at a time. Leave the glue, press it together real tight, leave the glue sit for like 5-10 minutes, go do something else. When you come back, it'll be stuck together enough you can pick it up and move the pieces around. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to glue it together like that. Square it all up, make it nice and neat, and then you're going to cut, hang on, let me go in my bin here. This piece isn't long enough, but Lowe's paint stir stick. Try to find some straight ones of these. The one I put on the right side there is crooked, and I can't fit a 9th bottle in the front. I have to sand the side of it a little bit so that I can fit a 9th bottle in there. But basically you're going to, what I did was I lined up the corner with the corner down there, and then the corner up here, and cut it straight across. You can make this fancy schmancy, like make it nice and even and straight in here. But I didn't really worry about it. I just cut it straight along this way, and it works fine. This one's going to be for Model Master, but since I plan on expanding my Tamiya paint collection, I'm going to put Model Master on this only until I fill it with Tamiya, and then I'll move the Model Master to another one until I have however many paints I'm going to have. God only knows. I'm actually thinking, like, even though that organizes them and keeps them, oops, sorry for the wobbly camera there. Even though that organizes them and keeps them neat, it still takes up a little bit of space on the bench. So I'm thinking about, like I said in my previous video, over here putting another, just like maybe 12 inches out from the wall, another extension that goes down there farther, and having all my paint lined up on that. So that's something I'm kind of thinking about, because I have my light right here. I can see my colors, I can test them here in the light, and it just seems like it would be a little bit easier. So yeah, basically all you guys have to do is cut the right amount of wood. Like if you wanted to add a 4th tier to this, you would need another length of this plus 6 more blocks, because it would have to be 3 high on each side to raise it up to the proper level. And then another tier would be another length of this plus 8 blocks, because you would need 4 high, etc., etc., etc. You could even put, you could even drill holes in these side pieces and put hardware through there to hold them together once you line them up on your bench. You can do anything basically. The only thing that I would find a hard time doing would be curved like curved corners, curved joints. That would be a little bit more difficult, but you know, for a quick fix, for something that you're just gonna a little weekend project, you know, you're tired of working on your kit that you're working on at the time, and you want to do something a little different, organize your bench a little bit. This is a really nice like weekend project to just do something a little different and organize your bench at the same time. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to comment, or you can probably email me. I think my email should be on there, my Google email. But just feel free to ask whatever questions you need if you have any other questions or concerns or whatever. Yeah, it's really easy. It's really cheap. Like I said, you can buy a 10-foot length of this at, I think it's 10 feet at Lowe's. I think it's $3. So maybe it's probably a little bit more than $3. The wood glue, that'll probably be your most expensive item. Or if you happen to decide to buy the tools that you need to do this, if you plan to do more projects, more woodworking like this, tools are obviously more expensive. This I think is probably $5. That's like $3. That's it. That's all you need. Sanding sponge, I don't even know. Let's say $2, maybe $3. So you might pay $11 for this project, and you get 2 paint racks out of it. And then you have a whole bottle of glue. So you can go and buy another piece of furring strip for $3 and make 2 more racks for $3, and then 3 more, or 2 more for $3. So it really is a good solution for people who don't want to fork out the cash at the moment, or maybe even at all, for professionally made paint racks. So now everybody can have one. I mean, it's not pretty. You can choose to. I basically just, when I cut the pieces, I sand them. I sand them nice with this as much as I can. I try not to be too strict. You can see there's a couple little stray bits there. And you may need to when you're putting this together, you may need to rotate these pieces a little bit to find the way they sit level best. That's just trial and error. I even had to do that. None of these are really perfect, so you kind of got to play around with it a little bit, but it's worth it. It's worth it for the money that you pay and the finished product. And like I said, you can choose to seal this. You could stain it with wood stain. It'd look rather good, I imagine. You could paint it if you wanted to. You could do anything. You leave it the way it is. I'm leaving it the way it is for now. It's fine for me. Now I can take my time, like, you know, going to buy a professionally made rack. Like, I don't have to worry about it as much now because at least I have some organization. So yeah, no more excuses. Build a paint rack. If you can't afford one, build a paint rack. I'm sure that most of us can afford $10 or $11. You know, rather than $20, $30 per rack, you can make 2 of them for $10 or $11. And some of you may even have some of this laying around. Like, you never know. Maybe construction or whatever. Maybe you guys are woodworkers. You have some of this around. You can make yourself a paint rack. I know a lot of people build the straight up wall style rack where it's just one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. I like that too. That's very clean, very obvious. All of your colors are right up there. But this works for me. I really like this. I basically just, I had some of this left over from building my workbench, and was thinking to myself, like, hey, I could use that stuff that's about as tall as a Tamiya bottle. I could use that stuff to make a paint rack. So I decided to give it a try, and it turned out really, really good. So I just want to pass that on to you guys, in case there's any of you out there that wish you had a paint rack but just don't want to fork out the cash for it right now. Now you can make one real cheap. So yeah, that's it. Catch you later, guys.